Hi, my name is Katie Kataska, and I am the chair of the Professional Development Committee of the New Jersey State Library Association. In the Library Career Path series, we'll be interviewing librarians from a wide variety of positions within the field, from public positions to music outreach and even business librarians. So newcomers and seasoned librarians alike can learn more about the many career options available in the field that they may not have been aware of. We hope you enjoy these interviews, and please like and subscribe to our channel below to help promote the Library Career Path series. Thanks so much for watching this series. We hope you enjoy it. Take care. Alrighty, so since we'll get started, can you please give us your name, title, and place of employment?
My name is Katrina Zwaaf. I am the Cataloging and Metadata Librarian and Technical Services at the Somerset County Library System of New Jersey.
And so what inspired you to become a librarian? Did you choose this profession or did it find you?
Probably a combination of the two. My mom was a school librarian, so I spent a lot of time in her library um, from a very young age. So I already kind of had a basic idea of what happened behind the scenes and how to search the catalog, and track down a book I wanted. And I was always kind of amazed by it when I kind of told my mom, I'm like, "What's a book about this?" And she's like, "Oh, it's in the 800s," and I was kind of impressed by her ability to kind of recall where things went, as in the land of Dewey, that is. Um, but I also ended up my first library job actually ended up being barcoding for my high school library. Not that that really gave me a real taste of what it was all about, but you got to start somewhere. But during the summers, I worked as an hourly employee in one of the libraries at Princeton University, and so I got to, see how circ worked. Saw like a little bit of technical service and stuff, so I didn't, really understand it at the time. But did shelving and pulled and copied things for ILL, and I really enjoyed the work. Um, so much so that when I went back to college to do all my academic stuff, and I was able to get a job, I was able to land a job um, in my college's library as well, and that kind of just planted the seed. And then eventually ended up at Rutgers in a section of technical services where I wasn't necessarily cataloging, but I was really exposed to a lot of things, and cataloging piqued my interest. So eventually I went and got my library degree, and here I am.
And the rest, as they say, is history.
Yeah.
That is really impressive that they were letting you like barcode and do ILLs. Like, I know even some of the teen volunteers were just like, yeah, I don't know if they're capable of that. But man, they clearly had a lot of faith in you.
Yeah, yeah, I think um and being like on the other side of that, working with work study students when I worked at Rutgers, it's a bit of a crapshoot sometimes, because sometimes you get really awesome students.
Mhm.
You really just get it, and then there are others who just don't. So
I know it's funny that like you'll find that funny, but no one else will find it intriguing.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
like I'll be laughing at call numbers and people are like, "What are you laughing at?" I'm like, "You won't get it."
Yeah, luckily, like things library related that I laugh about, I can share with my husband because he's also a librarian, so
I know. It's just funny how it's
he
like
gets
it's all
more
about
fun
the
with
little
that.
things.
Yeah.
And so on to the next question. So was there something specific that pointed you in the direction of becoming a cataloging librarian?
Um, I guess I kind of covered that in the last question.
I know, I know.
Um, yeah, just when I got like my first full-time library job at Rutgers working technical services. Um, kind of seeing everything, not necessarily knowing how to catalog, but being exposed to everything really piqued my interest in cataloging.
That's cool. And I'm sure it was a while ago, but can you describe the interview process? And is there an asset that you possess which you believe may have helped you land the job?
For my current position, it was actually it was a very quick process, which is I know was not the case other places. I've
Mm-mm.
definitely applied for jobs in other library systems and um, gotten the call that they actually wanna hire me when I've accepted another position.
Oh
Um,
no.
yeah, uh, everything worked out for the best in the end, but in this case it was very quick. I had an interview on Monday and had an offer by Wednesday.
Mhm.
Um, and I think part of it is that the head of the department I had worked for with previously. So that speaks to, the importance of maintaining relations, good working relationships with everybody you work with, because you never know down the line
Mhm.
that the relationship might be helpful. Not that um, the decision was solely hers. There was an interview panel for, it, basically the major stakeholders. So it was a group decision. I think she stepped back a little bit just to let the other two people kind of make the decision. But for this position, there was a lot, initially a lot of, maybe not a lot of, but there's a big push in the direction of digitization,
Mhm.
um, and working with local history and archival things. So when I was at Rutgers, I had worked on yearbook digitization project, and I also had been working at my local historical society. So that kind of put me in a position. And I also worked on the cataloging project um, that related to one of my courses in library school. So that um, I think kind of set me up to be like kind of a versatile candidate in a sense. I think,
It's very cool. I mean, clearly they wanted you, so that really helped out.
yeah, yeah, it's nice to feel wanted.
Exactly. Okay. What is a typical workday like for you?
My standard day includes, basically picking up, a book, cataloging it, and then, picking up another book and cataloging it and so forth. But um, things do change up sometimes because I do have involvement with the local history um, collections and archival collections. Um, and I always enjoy the challenge of cataloging something I haven't cataloged before, and connecting with folks who um, have a specific experience with it, um, and doing a little research just to get a little background to formulate my game plan. Um, we started cataloging scrapbooks from one of our branches. I kind
Hmm.
of had an idea of how I wanted to go, um, but just I needed to fill in some gaps. And this is where maintaining good relationships with your coworkers and past coworkers comes in. So I reached out to one of my colleagues who was the cataloger for special collections, and I'm like, have you cataloged a scrapbook, and how would you do it? And she sent back a response saying, I would select this and that, and I would put this information in, and it was very helpful.
Yeah, no, that's nice. I think that's nice about the library profession. It's all very collaborative. So if you ask someone a question, they'll be like, "I'll see how I can help you." Like, there's this meme from Jason Momoa where he's like, "I don't know how to answer that, but I will do everything in my power to find this answer for you."
So, well, I mean, that's basically what librarians do. Like, I don't know the answer, but I know where to look to point you in the
Hmm.
right direction.
Yeah, that's always a nice part.
Hmm.
But so what skills and qualifications are required for your position? And do they currently match the skills and qualifications that you use most on a daily basis?
All right. Well, for my particular position, since it is a library position, we do have a paraprofessional library.
Mm-hmm.
So the one thing being that I need the MLIS or MI or MLS, depending on when you graduated. Um, and the things that I use day to day are, maintaining my knowledge of Mark 21. Otherwise, I'd have no idea what I was looking at every day. Um, RDA, which is a set of rules that determines how you enter um, said items into marked fields. Um, Dewey Decimal Classification, because people got to be able to find stuff. Library of Congress, knowledge of Library of Congress subject headings, because again, that helps people find stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Experience with integrated library system, because I think if you've used one, it's fairly easy to kind of transfer over to another one. You just need to figure out it's for like another one specific quirks and you know shortcuts and stuff like that. Um, yeah, and also I think a little bit of knowledge of just different metadata schemas in general. Although I have that's like I think a smaller part of the job. Yeah,
Nice. Yeah.
that's
Uh,
that's about it in a nutshell.
so this is one of my favorite questions. So what is the best thing about your job and what is your least favorite?
My favorite thing is that my 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 institution is
Sorry, what was your favorite thing?
I'm sorry, I started to mumble.
Oh, it's okay. I just couldn't hear what you were saying.
Well, my library encourages continuing education, and I absolutely love that I can take advantage of that by going to conferences or taking like a library Q's class or attending webinars where, in other places I didn't necessarily have that opportunity. One, because I wasn't, I didn't have my library degree yet, therefore not a librarian. And yeah, I think some places want to develop or more encourage more development regardless of whether you have that degree or not, and some not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Trying to think of my least favorite thing. I think sometimes politics gets in the way.
Mm.
Sometimes. Um, so that can be frustrating.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Like you wouldn't think a library could be political because someone had asked me the same thing, and I said I really don't like the politics at the library, and they said there are politics at the library, and I said it's a job. There are politics everywhere, and it's always
Yeah,
about
yeah,
stuff you never expect, and it's quite
yeah,
exhausting.
yeah. And sometimes you're kind of surprised. There are specific hills people choose to die on,
Hmm.
or just
And you're just like, it's a library. It's not that serious.
yeah, yeah. No, it's not a life. It's not life and death.
No, no, but to some it is. So who knows? That's why it's called
Yeah,
politics, I guess.
yes, yeah,
It's like, it's not the hill I'm gonna die on, but for some they might.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so the next question is, so what are your salary expectations and does your current job meet them? Are there opportunities for growth in your position?
Uh, I feel like there could be improvement in my pay, but
Mm-hmm.
I think think I think that's the case for a lot of people feel that way, especially when you work for like a government entity. There's only so much money to go around.
Yeah.
Um, but I will say one thing for my library is that even during COVID, they Um, didn't want to furlough anybody. Wanted to make sure everybody got paid, including the part-timers, hourly folks. So um, I appreciate that. So,
Hmm.
because a lot of people just ended up unemployed after, during and after COVID. And it was nice to know that they really considered us.
Hmm.
But yeah, I think there's always room for improvement in, your take home pay. I don't think
Hmm.
the world who wouldn't say that, you
Yeah,
know, things get more expensive and you have more bills to pay.
always. And do you think there's room for growth in your position as well?
Eventually, I mean,
Hmm.
I'm 5 years here, 5 years with my library degree, so I don't know, maybe 10 years from now, I will have total library world domination. Maybe not.
Well,
Maybe.
I look forward to or seeing you as our future library overlord.
Thank you.
And so the next question then is, so what advice do you have for new librarians or graduate students about to enter the field?
I mean, I'll bring this up again. I think relationships are everything. Like I said, it's what's gotten me this far.
Hmm.
Um, it's led to, I think, my success in working with NJLA and the technical services and selection development section. Um, right now, I'm the vice president. But we work together on a lot of things. It's the more people you know and um, connect with organically, because it's weird being in a room at a networking event with a bunch of people you don't know. So I think the section meetings give us an opportunity to connect on the people who are doing the same things as we do. So like intersection meetings, we usually discuss business, like preparing for conference and planning events. But then once we covered all our business, we have designated time for like open discussion. So if somebody's scratching their head over something, they can ask a question about it, and then everybody can chime in if they have some sort of particular advice related to their issue. And then, also there's some just talking about personal stuff, just connecting with people.
Yeah, no, honestly, like I'm glad after like I joined Emerging Leaders, like now it's suddenly like opened the floodgates for me to have people to talk to because it's funny how much this is the profession of a lot of people, but you could also feel like so lonely.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I think I think the I think a lot of people are trying to work away from this because
Hmm.
even within a small library, people are in their different areas and are just siloed off. It's like you're not children, you're not adult services, you're not cataloging. And
I
it's
know. So it's just like you can't talk to anybody about your questions.
yeah, or I think for me, I think when I worked at Rutgers, there was a big emphasis in our department on being approachable, and I think that's kind of informed how I interact with people, providing internal customer service. Um, because, if you don't engage with anybody, they're not going to want to approach you. It
Hmm.
doesn't matter how nice you are. If you don't engage with people from time to time and just kind of put up your walls, and you're not going to, I don't, in my opinion, you're not going to get as far as you would if you actually, made an effort to maintain those human connections.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we're a community of trying to help people. So if you don't talk to them, no one's really going to want to talk to you.
Exactly, exactly. And then, if you just suddenly pop up out of nowhere after not saying anything for forever, it's going to be weird and awkward. So it's like, oh, why do
Exactly.
you want to talk to me all of a sudden? And
Yeah, exactly. So you always got to start off on like the right foot.
exactly, exactly. I think you don't have to necessarily share all your deepest, darkest secrets with people, but you have to a certain degree, be a little bit open. Leave the door
Mm,
ajar, if you will.
yeah, yeah. No, it makes sense. I agree.
Mm.
And so the next question is, so what do job prospects look like for your type of position?
Um, I don't think there's not as much
Hmm.
available, I think, as there used to be. And part of that has to do with um, libraries just buying MARC records from vendors like BNT. Um, Part of that, I think, is based on whether they have the staffing availability um, and the money to pay said staff to spend time on it. So I think some libraries it's just easier to get the stuff in and then be able to put it on the shelf. But in the libraries this mine, we actually have 4 full-time catalogers, so which is great. But we also still take advantage of getting records from DNT from time to time, just to kind of take the edge off a little bit. Um, but yeah, the cataloging jobs and technical services jobs are not as plentiful as, say, like your basic adult services position, um, or public any sort of public facing position. So it's a little harder. It's well, I mean, cataloging is a little bit of a niche area. So, and then there are a lot of people who think that our robot overlords should replace catalogs, but the catalogers, excuse me. Um, but we're not that far yet. So I'll happily hang on to the job.
No, yeah, like I think even if we get replaced out by AI, like there's still computer error. Like it's nowhere near where it
Yeah,
needs to be. And I do find it funny, there's a lot of library program AI, and I'm like, I feel like the technology is nowhere near.
you can't even make a phone call to like a customer service line and necessarily end up where you want to go, and you end up
Hmm.
yelling at the lady in the phone who's not actually a lady,
Exactly.
person, and not actually a
But
person.
sometimes it sounds so real.
Yeah, and you're just like
Yeah.
customer service. You want to
Hmm.
pay your bill? No.
You have to go through the robot voice about 20 times.
Yeah, yeah.
It's funny though that you say like there's not a lot of cataloging jobs because like for a while I wanted to work at my university library, and just for like only recently did I notice they like had a job opening for a librarian, and of all things it was a cataloging librarian, and I was like, ah, someone left.
Oh, which university?
Montclair State.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
What has been your biggest challenge in this profession?
I think with cataloging, there is a deep sea of things of skills that you can acquire, um, specific to cataloging different formats, and how do you approach them. Um, you know, it's like I think there's a image that's been floating around the internet with like an iceberg, and there's surface level stuff, and then there's like a ginormous rest of the iceberg.
Mhm.
And I would love to acquire more knowledge, um, just so I can um, be able to contribute more in my position, and because I just want to know all the things. But you can't just suddenly know all the things.
It's a very librarian thing to want though.
Yeah, yeah. I can't help myself.
Yeah. I don't think you're alone though. I think we all want to know, like, have our hands in everything.
Yeah, yeah. I just want to know all the things.
I know. I would say that's one of my biggest like challenges too. I'm just like, I just want to attend all the things, do all the meetings, do everything and take it on myself, and then not burn out
Yeah,
at the end of the week.
yeah, yeah. But you learn a little bit every day. So, I appreciate the opportunities I do get to learn more.
Yeah. No, that's very cool to hear.
Yeah,
Did you want to add anything else before we move on, or you think you're good?
I think that's about it.
I know. I feel like we could talk about this all day.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. So the last question is, are there any accomplishments during your library career that you're particularly proud of?
Um, so far I was a NJLA emerging leader in 2021, so that I was thrilled when I got in because at first I'm like, oh, well, they probably just accept everybody, and then I found out, not everybody made it who applied my particular years. So that really kind of that boosted my self-esteem there a little bit. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I've through one of my connections back at Rutgers was able to write reviews for websites that relate to technical services and cataloging, excuse me. Um, and um, got those published in Technical Services Quarterly. So I've actually had things that have been published in scholarly journals.
Oh,
It's not
nice.
research, it's not research, but
But still,
it's there. Like I have things that have DOIs and everything. I have a nice little publication list, and yeah, one of my reviews was cited in other academic works, so that really kind of was like, wow, that's great. People
you're
actually,
like, look at me and what I did.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Like when I noticed that, like, oh wow, because and, and I have a Google Scholar page, which is kind of cool. Um, that's how I saw that. My one article got cited a few times. I'm like, oh, hey, I'm contributing to the profession.
That's really cool.
Um, yeah, and then just the work that I do with NJLA, being an officer in a section and helping shape what might end up at the conference a little bit. Um, and I think that's, you know, volunteer positions like that have really kind of helped me develop my management style a little bit and, determines that I could prove to myself that I, have the ability to manage people. But just being able to being in a leadership position and then having people actually want your opinion on something because somebody had reached out to me over the weekend wanting some insight that they didn't get from the conference committee for a session proposal they had submitted. And I'm like, oh, I think it's X, Y, and Z, and they were basically like, oh yeah, that makes a lot more sense. And I'm like, and if you wanna, connect with more people, you can come on over to our section. And I mean, we have some, quote unquote business stuff, but we usually have an open discussion. So it would give you an opportunity to connect with other people who are doing the same kind of work. So you're not kind of off in a bubble on your own. So it's nice to be able to connect people.
Yeah,
And yeah, that's kind of like being a reference librarian a little bit at times.
pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, but yeah, I think
So
that, oh, sorry, what'd you say?
I'm always happy when I can help people go in the right direction.